Good evening, Crime Talk aficionados. My name is Scott Reisch, and this is Crime Talk, the most fact-driven, unbiased true crime channel on the internet. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is our Tuesday night live. For those of you who haven't joined us before, my name is Scott Reisch. I am a practicing criminal defense attorney. Can't believe it, but yes, going on my 26th year of doing primarily criminal defense work. Yes, but hopefully that's why you come here, so that I can explain to you what's going on, what you're not going to get on the little 30-second snippet of the evening news, and we're going to break it down for you. If you haven't heard, there was some big news today, news that a lot of people have been waiting for, news that a lot of people were expecting, waiting to come back months ago. We'll give the DA their credit. You know, obviously, they had a lot of discovery to go through. A lot of states were not conducting normal grand jury investigations during the COVID crisis because you couldn't assemble people. And apparently the district attorney wanted to make sure that this case that they're talking about right now, that we're probably going to talk about most of the evening, they wanted it to be done before a grand jury. Not just the district attorney saying we have enough. Let's at least let a grand jury say up or down on whether the probable cause exists. And if for those of you who haven't heard, that's right, charges were filed. New charges were filed against Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Let's take a look because they're similar, but there's a couple of differences throughout the indictment. This is just the kind of official cover page, if we can put that up. There, Frank. Yep, under the projector here.
Yeah, I got it, but I can't see anything.
Neither can I. All right, well, anyway. Okay. All right, we're going to, while we figure that out, try to put the document up on the screen here so that everybody can see it. But when it does come up, it's going to show that Chad Daybell has been charged with criminal conspiracy. Oh, there it is. There it is. You can see the whole list of charges here. Criminal conspiracy, murder, criminal conspiracy, murder, criminal conspiracy, murder, and 2 counts of insurance fraud. Now, let's talk about all of these charges. Now, old Lori Vallow, a.k.a. Lori Daybell, Lori Vallow, once again, criminal conspiracy, murder, criminal conspiracy, murder, murder, conspiracy, and grand theft. Stealing, it's like stealing money from children. Ooh, it's even worse when it's your deceased children. Now, as always, we will give everyone the benefit of the presumption of innocence. Why do we do that? Well, because I'm a criminal defense attorney. Why? Because everyone charged with a crime is given the presumption of innocence. We've talked about this, okay? It's straightforward. The Constitution affords everyone the presumption of innocence, and that presumption of innocence will remain with them until and if the prosecution can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt to each and every element of the offenses charged. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay? Are you guys ready for this? Let's see. We already have over 1,000 watchers this evening, so that's great. And if you have a question, we'll try to add those in, but I'm going to try to explain it to you first, and then we'll come back for questions. All right? Let's do that. Now, if you haven't done so already, if you're joining us maybe the first time, you say, hey, this case is interesting. Finally, they got substance, right? Let's face it. Now we have charges that carry life without the possibility of parole, times 2. One for the death of Lori Vallow. One for the death of Tylee and JJ. And then we have the other attempted conspiracy, attempted murder as it relates to Tammy Daybell. So, but we'll get to that. We'll go through the charges and explain it because there's little nuances here of what they're truly trying to say, and not to say you couldn't figure it out because I mean our subscribers here, our Crime Talk aficionados, are the best. They're super smart. They get criminal law. They get the nuances of it. But we're going to go through it. So here, we'll put that document up again, and let's see what we have. All right, conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. All right, and grand theft by deception. We'll just read the count. Now, I've highlighted kind of the interesting parts, and we can read along, but I'll explain it as we go. So it alleges that the defendants, Chad Guy Daybell, Lori Noreen Vallow, and Alex Cox. Remember, Alex Cox is the now deceased brother of Lori Vallow, one that, this guy originally thought all along that Alex Cox was the one that responsible for JJ and Ty Lee. Well, it goes on. It says, and other co-conspirators, both known and unknown. That's pretty standard language in a conspiracy charge because you never know who's always involved in the conspiracy, so you leave that language in. And it alleges on or between the dates of October 26, 2018, and continuing until January 15 of 2020 in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, and elsewhere, including Fremont County, Idaho, and as part of a continuing criminal transaction and common scheme or plan in Madison and Fremont counties, Idaho, did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit murder in the first degree of Tylee Ryan and to commit grand theft by deception. All right, that is the allegation. Now, every good conspiracy needs an overt act, all right? Now, I wanted to make sure I got this right because although I practice full-time in the state of Colorado, and we've handled cases all over the country, when in doubt, you always go to the jury instructions, okay? And so I said, let's just make sure there's nothing weird, no little nuances in the state of Idaho that we need to be aware of, right? Because one of the first things, we want to make sure we get it right. So I went and I got the conspiracy instruction, right? When in doubt, go to the jury instructions. You can go to the statute. That's good. There's case law that tells you what it is, but the jury instructions will always tell you what the prosecution must prove. The instructions are what the jury's going to get. So just very quickly, the crime of conspiracy involves an agreement by two or more persons to commit a crime. We've talked about that before. All our aficionados know this. And it's an agreement of two or more people to commit an illegal act. Boom. They need not agree upon every detail. The agreement may be established in any manner sufficient to show an understanding of the parties to the agreement. It may be shown by evidence of an oral or written agreement or may be implied from the conduct of the parties. It does not matter whether the crime agreed upon was actually committed. You can be guilty of conspiracy and not actually complete the conspiracy. So what does that truly mean? Okay, the charge here is conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. They're alleging that Chad, Lori, and Alex Cox conspired an agreement between two or more people to commit an illegal act, right? Now, the instruction says there could be evidence of an oral or written agreement. Most of the time, agreements to commit illegal acts do not have a writing, okay? They don't get together and say, we're going to come to an agreement to do an illegal act, and let's memorialize it so everybody knows what they need to do. It usually doesn't work that way. So what do you have to do to show a conspiracy? You have to show action, conduct. In this particular case, I'm going to say that there are text messages, and we can learn some more about this as we go through. So we have the overt act. What the hell is an overt act, you might ask? That's something in furtherance of the conspiracy. Let me give you a quick example, all right? If I say, Frank, we should go rob a bank, and Frank says, hey, that's a great idea. I'll go get the masks. And then I say, Julie, what do you want to be in our conspiracy? Would you like, or I'm going to go rob a bank. Would you go get the car? Sure, you betcha. We have formed a conspiracy. right? I'll meet you out in the parking lot in 5 minutes. We show up in the parking lot in 5 minutes. I'm ready to go. I've got, let's say, my note that I'm going to hand to the teller. Julie got the car. Frank got the masks. Guess what? We have formed a conspiracy to rob a bank, even if we don't go any further. If the police come in and say, hey, what are you doing? We're just going to go rob a bank. You're guilty, okay? Overt acts that are taking that step necessary to do that. So here in the overt acts section, it says, in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception, and to effect the objects thereof, one or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy as part of a continuing criminal transaction and common scheme or plan within Madison and Fremont counties or elsewhere in the state of Idaho. And they allege in paragraph 1, on or between October 26, 2018 and June 9th, 2020, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow did endorse and espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of encouraging and or justifying the homicide of Tylee Ryan. On or about August 16th, 2019, Lori Noreen Vallow did change the deposit of Tylee Ryan's Social Security benefits from Tylee Ryan's JP Mortgage Chase account to deposit money directly into Lori Noreen Vallow's personal BBVA bank account. On or about September 1, 2019, Lori Vallow did move from Chandler, Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho with Alex Cox, Tylee Ryan, and Joshua Jackson Vallow, hereinafter JJ Vallow. And as we continue here, the pleasure of doing lives. It alleges on page 2, on or about September 8th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell Googled SSW wind and visited a website entitled, What is the definition of SSW wind direction? On or about September 9th, 2019, Alex Cox did go to 565 Pioneer Road, apartment 175, Rexburg, Idaho. On or between September 9th, 2019 and February 1st, 2020, Lori Noreen Vallow failed or refused to contact the Social Security Administration as required by law to inform the Social Security Administration of Tylee Ryan's death. And on or about September 25th, 2019 and January 22nd, 2020, Lori Noreen Vallow did wrongfully continue to collect 5 monthly Social Security survivor benefits on behalf of Tylee Ryan. That's a little interesting because I'm not exactly sure how the Social Security benefits, how the state would prosecute that. But hey, if that's their theory, go with it. Normally, something like that probably go to the states unless there's something there. But if that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. But what do we learn from the count 1? All right. And this is very similar to the count 3 because count 3 is almost identical. This one is to JJ. I take that back. Not count 3. Count 5. Nope. I take that back. Okay, we'll just go through this. All right. So that's count 1 as it relates to Tylee's death and the grand theft. That's the theory that they're going forward on as it relates to Tylee Ryan. Now, count 2 is, you have to pay close attention to this because you say, well, it's first degree murder. Okay, but let's take a look at this. The defendants, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow, notice Alex Cox is not there, on or between the 8th and 9th day of September 2019 in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, as part of a common scheme or plan or continuing criminal transaction between Madison and Fremont counties in Idaho were concerned in the commission of a first-degree murder. And this is the key. And did aid and abet in the commission or, not being present, advised and encouraged its commission or by command compelled to commit the crime and did so with malice aforethought and did so willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, which resulted in the death of a human being, to wit, did either kill Tylee Ryan and or assist in the killing of Tylee Ryan, and did encourage the killing of Tylee Ryan, and or did commit another to kill Tylee Ryan. Okay? So that's first degree murder, basically saying you did it, but if you didn't do it, you are saying that you encouraged somebody else to do it. What they refer to as a complicity instruction. Okay, complicity is not a crime. It is a theory of prosecution. But you can glean from what the prosecutor is alleging. In count one, they're saying that they were encouraging the death of Tylee. They were espousing these religious beliefs. Remember, all the children were possessed. They're evil. They need to die, etc. And one can infer from this, because we obviously don't have all the discovery in the case, but that there has been some sort of aiding or encouragement of perhaps Alex Cox to do this. Count two is saying, hey, you either did it or you advised or encouraged somebody, which would be more consistent with the theory. Now, counts 1 and 2 relate to Tylee. Let's go then to count 3. This is almost identical as it relates to the conspiracy, grand theft by deception. But as you can see, this one has Joshua J.J. Vallow in as the victim. The overt acts are very similar. On or between October 26th and June 9th of 2020, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow did endorse and teach religious beliefs for the purpose of justifying the homicide of J.J. Vallow. Right? Just what we're talking about. And obviously, count 3 also mentions Alex Cox, who's now deceased. The overt acts, once again, continuing, paragraph 2, on or about September 1st, Lori Noreen Vallow did move from Chandler, Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho with Alex Cox, Tylee Ryan, and Joshua Jackson Vallow. September 23rd, Alex Cox did take possession of J.J. Vallow. On November 26th, Lori Vallow provided a false and or misleading physical location of J.J. Vallow to law enforcement during a lawful investigation. On or between September 23rd, 2019 and February 1st, 2020, Lori Noreen Vallow failed to and refused to contact the Social Security Administration required by law to inform the Social Security Administration of J.J. Vallow's death. And in the next paragraph, it states that she did, in fact, receive 4 monthly Social Security survivor benefits, exceeding payments. And it's alleged down below, it's $1,000 or more. Wow. I mean, we're not talking a whole ton of money, but to kill your kids, I mean, geez. All right. Then count 4, once again, Chad and Lori, on or between the 22nd day of September, 22nd, 23rd day of September, in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, as part of a common scheme or plan. Continuing transaction between Madison and Fremont counties in Idaho was concerned in the commission of a first-degree murder and did aid and abet in its commission, or not being present, advised and encouraged its commission, or by command compelled another to commit the crime and did so with the malice of forethought and did so willfully. Okay? So, really, I think what the prosecutor is saying here is, hey, count 1, count 3, we're saying that there is a conspiracy between Lori, Chad, and Alex Cox to basically get rid of and kill JJ and Tylee. Counts 2, alleged first-degree murder, basically saying you encouraged, you were a complicit, or you aided, encouraged, or bet, or directed somebody to go do it, i.e. Alex Cox. Under a complicity theory of instruction, whether Alex Cox did it or Lori Vallow or Chad Daybell, doesn't matter. If they encouraged him to go do it, whether it's put in some sort of crazy religious notion that they were possessed, whatever, guess what? It's still murder in the first degree. So yeah, then we have count 4, then we have count 5. This is the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Now, this is the one, as you may recall, and I think we did a show on this, that Tammy Vallow had, in fact, been, basically shot at, so to speak, at one point in time. Now, understand, neither Chad nor Lori are charged with the murder of Tammy Vallow, but Tammy Daybell. I'm sorry, Tammy Daybell. Thank you. And if I misspeak, please feel free to correct me at any time. All right. And so, count 5: conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. This is where it gets really good. Let's see if I make sure I get this straight here. These documents are tricky sometimes.
Right there.
Right there? Okay.
No. A little bit more. Right there.
Okay. Count 5. This is where it gets good. That the defendants, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow and Alex Cox, deceased, on or about October 1st of 2018 and January 15th, 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, and elsewhere, including Madison County, and as part of a continuing transaction in common scheme or plan in Fremont counties, Idaho, did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit murder in the first degree of Tammy Daybell. And they did combine or conspire to commit murder, and on more of such persons did an act to affect the object of the conspiracy, right? You need to have that overt act. You can have, we should overthrow this and we should do that and do terrible things, but until you really act upon it, it's not really a crime. So the overt acts. Let's see if I can get that lined up there. Look at that. In furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree of Tammy Daybell, and to effect the objects thereof, one or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy as part of a continuing criminal transaction in common scheme or plan with Madison and Fremont counties or elsewhere in the state of Idaho. On or about or between the dates of October 26, 2018 and June 9th of 2020, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow did encourage and espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of justifying and or encouraging the homicide of Tammy Daybell. And on or about September 1, 2019, Lori Noreen Vallow did move to Rexburg, Idaho with Alex Cox, Tylee Ryan, Joshua Wine, hereinafter J.J. Vallow. Text messages between Chad and Lori regarding death percentages for Tammy and J.J. in messages on July 30th, 2019. Little side note here. It's always the defendant's own words that are going to get them. I don't know what people think that, it's on my phone, they'll never get it. Oh, they're going to get it, one way or the other. Fourth, Chad Daybell obtained a burner phone on September 18th of 2019. Fifth, Alex Cox obtained a burner phone on October 9th of 2019. Text messages between Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Noreen Vallow about Tammy Daybell being in limbo and Tammy being possessed by a spirit named Viola. September 8th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell signed application along with Tammy Daybell to increase her life map insurance to the maximum allowed under her policy. Isn't that convenient? If you're going to kill somebody, make sure you up the insurance premium. Congratulations. Because that never looks suspicious, does it? 8, Alex Cox attempted to shoot Tammy Daybell on October 9th of 2019. Alex Cox conducted multiple internet searches between the dates of October 8th, 2019 and October 12th, 2019, including searches related to Grendel drop and shooting through a Dakota and 30. Let me just start over. Many searches dated through October 12th, including searches related to Grendel drop and shooting through a Dodge Dakota. Alex going to a gun range in the months before October 9th, 2019, when he attempted the shooting of Tammy Daybell takes place. So they're basically saying that he went to the gun range to become a better shot. It's interesting. I mean, I can't wait to see what these messages ultimately were to Alex Cox, or what he was preaching to them, to think that, yes, these people are possessed. They're in limbo, right? Like Hades kind of thing. And that they're actually trying to say, we're not going to do anything wrong. We can't control what he does. He's probably mentally unfit, which may be a defense. All right. Because if they have their words, they're going to have to say, hey, they may be my words, but that's not what was meant by them. Let me explain what was really meant by that. Paragraph 11 under the overt acts. Alex traveled from Sportsman's Warehouse to the vicinity of the Daybell's residence on October 9th. Alex was in the church parking lot approximately 2 miles from the Daybell residence on the night of October 18th. So we'll see how that shakes out. But once again, a conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, even though it wasn't completed. The prosecutor is alleging that they took the overt acts like, hey, let's get rid of Tammy Daybell, and, why don't you go practice at the gun range, and, we'll have our little alibi over here, and, you go ahead and take care of that, Alex, and go ahead and Google those, reports and see what happens, see if anything comes up, anything along those lines. Now, this is where I think it's, listen, how many times have I said that? For all my Crime Talk aficionados, if you go back and look at the 12 undeniable truths, basically everything I've ever learned about life, I could put in a book. It's 12 undeniable truths. And one of them is it's always about the money. And when they say it's not about the money, then it's always about the money. And here, count 8, insurance fraud. That the defendant, Chad Guy Daybell, on or about October 19th, 2019 through October 30th, 2019, in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, did with the intent to defraud or deceive an insurer for the purpose of obtaining any money or benefit presented or caused to be presented to an insurer or another person a statement as part of or in support of a claim for payment or benefit, knowing that such statement contained false, incomplete, or misleading information concerning any fact or thing material to such claim. To wit, did present and or cause to be presented an insurance beneficiary form to Life Map Assurance Company in violation of Idaho Code Section 41-293. Are you telling me that he submitted a form that was not truthful regarding death benefits, regarding to an insurance policy? That's what it seems like to me. Let's read on. Count 9. That the defendant, Chad Guy Daybell, on or about October 19th through October 31st, 2019, in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, did with the intent to defraud or deceive an insurer for the purpose of obtaining any money or benefit present or caused to be present to an insurer or another person a statement apart or in support of claim for payment of benefits, knowing that such statement contained false, incomplete, or misleading information concerning any fact or things of material such claim. To wit, did present and or cause to be presented a claim.
You don't have that on the screen.
Oh. I don't have that. Oh, did I miss a page? No. Cause.
No.
There we go. And then the final page. To be presented a claimant statement of Principal Life Insurance Company. Basically, 2 life insurance policies, false information. Now you have to wonder, he's only charged with the attempted murder. I mean, really, it's attempted conspiracy to commit murder. And there's nothing been charged as it relates to the death of Tammy Daybell dying than other than natural causes. Remember, there's still that coroner's report out there that everybody was waiting on to see if there was something maybe in the toxicology or what have you, but nothing was there. So makes you wonder what exactly are they saying is the false statement, that, he loved his wife, that he's never done anything. Because as you may recall, and we put up a really good video just the other day, Lori Vallow is now broke. Remember? Great little video. Got a lot of views the other day. And why is she broke? We had to wonder. Normally when somebody is in custody, they're considered indigent, and they are entitled to legal representation at no expense to them. Previously, Chad Daybell had hired for his new wife, Lori Vallow, Mark Means. Mark Means showed up, never really done a serious felony case, let alone a homicide, and he's been muddling his way through thus far. He apparently filed a motion for a finding of indigency, and the judge granted that the other day. Now, normally, that's when the public defender would come on the case, private counsel would get off, basically saying, hey, judge, the money ran out. I'd love to do the case, but guess what? I got a family to feed and bills to pay too, so I got to get paid for it. So apparently, Mr. Means requested to stay on. Now, that was only in regards to the case regarding the case that's currently pending for both Lori and Chad, as it relates to the basically hiding of evidence, tampering with the evidence charges that remain, deceiving people as to where the remains were. Now, those carry only 10 years max in prison. 10 years. Now we're talking life without parole. Things just got real serious right now. So what is going to happen? Lori and Chad, both have a hearing tomorrow. I believe one is set at 10 a.m. and the other is at 11, if I remember correctly. Is that correct, Frank and Julie?
Yeah, 11 at 11.
10 and 11, right?
Yeah, 11 is Lori's at 11:30. Chad and Lori's at 11:30.
Oh, they're both at 11:30.
Chad's at 11. Chad's at 11:30.
Okay, Chad's at 11, Lori's at 11:30. So that's good. They're going to have an advisement. And then we get to find out and see who is going to enter. Will they get new counsel on the homicide case, or will Mr. Pryor stay on and enter his appearance for Chad Daybell? Makes you wonder. Now, the charge on the insurance fraud, you would think, and maybe this is, okay, and we don't like to speculate. We like facts, right? But this is one of those times where you have to really wonder. It's like, you always wonder, from a private practice perspective, a case like this takes a ton of time, a lot of research. Experts are going to have to be hired. This case is expensive, okay? A good old-fashioned murder, no rabbit holes to go down. You're talking probably $150,000 to $200,000, okay? Your average case. Here you got cases that have legal issues, ton of discovery. This case could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I don't know what Chad Daybell had in the bank, but my understanding was he didn't have a whole lot of money. I don't think he was selling that many of those audio books or podcasts that he had a fortune stashed away. So the bulk of his wealth came from the insurance funds, right? It was like $490,000, I think, total. Well, guess what? When insurance companies find out that they paid money back incorrectly, right? What do insurance companies do? They want their money back. And if that money exists and they know where it is, they can go and say, I'm going to pull that money back, lawyers. So whatever you have that you haven't spent, claw it back. Oh, and by the way, we may try to get it from you as well. Okay. Now, Pryor has a lien on Daybell's property, and we've talked about, I think there's some ethical issues related to that, which just not kosher, because you can't take a lien on the property and who's your loyalty towards? Hey, let's get this case over as quickly as possible so you can't make it, you get convicted, and I get your house, or you're truly working for the defendant. We can't do that where I practice law. Somebody did years and years ago, and guess what? They got disbarred. You can't do it. But Idaho's different. They can do what they want out there, I guess. So, anyway, insurance companies may want their money back. Is that one of the reasons why they're broke? Maybe there's no more money. Maybe they knew these other charges were coming. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see if Mr. Pryor shows up tomorrow and enters his appearance for Chad Daybell, knowing that, he may, who knows? If they're both indigent, one will get the public defender, one would get the, appointed private counsel estate expense. That's just the way it works. And I mean, obviously I'm a firm believer everybody needs an attorney. It's, you have a right to have an attorney at no expense. Great little case out there, United States Supreme Court. I think it was 1961. Gideon v. Wainwright says that, yeah, you're entitled to an attorney, particularly when they want to send you to prison. And yes, our legal system is flawed. Yes, our country has issues. But what other country in the world do they say, the government comes and says, we want to throw you in jail because we think you've broken the law, but we're going to give you an attorney to fight against that? What other legal system in the world does that? I'm not aware of one. I think you have to pay for it. Oh, you can't afford an attorney? Ooh, sucks being you, right? So we have our flaws, but that's a good thing that takes place in our legal system for sure. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if the vast fortunes of Chad Daybell continue so that he can continue to pay his attorney on this new case. And frankly, the whole hiding, desecration of a corpse, all that kind of good stuff, chump change. I mean, they might as well have just joined these cases, put it all together. It's all coming in. Let's just get the show on the road. Now, what's a good thing as well about this? This case proceeded via grand jury indictment. What does that mean? What's the significance of that? Well, the previous charges were done by complaint and information. Basically, the officers went to the court, they got an arrest warrant, or the prosecutor said, here's the charges. Judge reads the arrest warrant, says, yeah, good enough to go, but we'll give you a preliminary hearing just to be safe, to make sure you are in fact the person that committed those charges. Well, here, you don't get a preliminary hearing because the grand jury has indicted, right? You had 15 to 21 good citizens, did a really good show on that about a couple weeks ago, explaining the grand jury process completely, and you should take a look at it. But the grand jury has spoken, so we don't need to establish probable cause. It's been established already. So that means literally tomorrow will be an advisement. They'll get an attorney. They'll set it out. They could set it literally for an arraignment next week and a plea of not guilty. More than likely, the court will give, particularly if there's new counsel, time to get up to speed on the discovery before they proceed to an arraignment. But this hopefully will get this case moving along much faster than the case previously had been doing. Now, one of the things, and I've never seen this before, at least where I practice, which is both federal court and state court in the state of Colorado, but in their witness list on the official indictment, they showed who the witnesses were throughout the process. The grand jury convened May 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 24th. And they actually listed the people that appeared before the grand jury. I am surprised that they did that, but like I said, I can look things up, but I'm a little surprised that they did that. But they did it, and there's a public record, as we can see. And I don't know if they have Ray, Ron, or Ray, and then Ron, Randy Reese, Stubbs, Joe Powell, Bruce, Mattingly, Vinny. Vinny? Who's Vinny? Would you like to know who Vinny is? Let me see if I can.
Mike calls him.
Yeah, Vinny. I mean, let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Right? So these are the witnesses. Normally, only the parties to the process get a copy of the actual witnesses that appeared when you get the grand jury transcript. Now, the grand jury transcript is still sealed, but as you can see, those are the witnesses. Now, as we talked about on our show today, Melanie Gibb was in town and was served with a subpoena ducis tecum by Mark Means, basically to produce her contents of her phone, probably overly broad, probably have a motion to quash granted on that subpoena. But she was staying at the hotel. And we can see here, Melanie Gibb was in town on May 19th, testifying before the grand jury. So we know that was probably her that got the subpoena. That's for sure. And then the next day, we had Ricky Wright, Garth Warren, Melanie Polinsky, Ian Polinsky, Audrey Baratiero, I'm sure I mispronounced that, Ben Dean, I'm not sure who, BYU, Eileen Kinghorn, Emma Moss, Heather Daybell, Sandra Briggs, McKay Abelgan, Abeglan, Ricky Wright continued, so they broke up his, probably investigator, Jared Wilmore, recalled Audrey Botero, 911 dispatch operator, Chris Ali Greenlaw, Cammie Wilmore, Ray Hermosa, Brenda Dye, Vinnie Kay, Mike Douglas, and Doug Hart. So those are the witnesses that appeared before the grand jury, and they will more than likely be witnesses at a trial. Very, very interesting times indeed, for sure. So let me do a couple of questions. All right, got a couple of super chats. If Alex Cox was alive today, would he have been charged with the same charges? I think he's the X Factor, expects he's deceased. Great channel. Thanks, Aliska. If Alex Cox were alive today, he would probably be charged with conspiracy to commit murder as well as murder, basically alleging that he did it. That was always kind of the theory. You can say, oh, Alex Cox did it. We didn't know what he was doing. And I would imagine that that is going to be the defense. Sure, we may have different religious beliefs than most people, but guess what? This is America. This is not wrong. You can't punish us for our beliefs unless, of course, you harm somebody. Then you got a problem, right? So the question is going to become, what does the government have on these text messages back and forth showing that there was, in fact, this basically almost egging Alex Cox on to do it, right? I mean, we've heard about those cases. I think it was the young lady, or was it Boston or something, where she was encouraging somebody, oh, you should just go harm yourself. Go harm yourself. And she was found guilty of basically pushing this person over the edge to do that. That's kind of what they're alleging here in this circumstance, is that they were pushed over the edge. You know, Alex Cox would have been basically enticed, pushed, dared, or something along those lines to, to do that. It's going to be interesting. Now, here's something else we talked about before. All right. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, what somebody did. It only matters what can be proven. And with Alex Cox dead, one could say, well, he's dead. How are they going to get those statements in, right? These are the things that attorneys have to think about. How can we get in these hearsay statements of a dead man that aren't being able to be subject to cross-examination, right? Constitutional right, confrontation clause. All these statements about Alex, how are they going to come in? There's a rule for that. Rule 801D2E. It's co-conspirator statements in furtherance of a conspiracy. Those statements are not hearsay. Now, there will be a lot of fights and challenges regarding what particular statements they intend to introduce, under what legal theory, under what rules of evidence do they intend to get it admitted as. But if it was a statement in furtherance of the conspiracy, i.e., how are we planning this? What are we going to do? You should do this. You should do that. I'll do this. That is in furtherance of the conspiracy, not a hearsay statement. So the problem you have normally of getting a dead man's statements into evidence, problem solved. This is going to get good, don't you think? Valerie, super chat. Scott, page 7 of the indictment. Chad was charged with first-degree murder for Tammy's death. Well, I don't. Let's go back and double check, because if I misread it, it was really because he didn't shoot her. Remember, he's charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Like we talked about, under conspiracy, I pulled up this instruction here, right? Because I like to get it right. Here's the instruction for conspiracy. The crime of conspiracy involves an agreement between two or more people to commit a crime. We've talked about that a ton on this. They need not agree upon every detail. The agreement may be established in any manner sufficient to show an understanding of the parties to the agreement. It may be shown by evidence of an oral or written agreement, or may be implied from the conduct of the parties. This comes straight out of the jury instruction. And then look at this little footnote, not even a footnote, it's a little paren box, if it wasn't committed. It does not matter whether the crime agreed upon was actually committed. Now remember, let's take a look at page 7, as Valerie points out. And what that says or shows is that, remember, Tammy Daybell had an incident where somebody took a shot at her. Right? Do you remember that? I'm not making this up. Yeah, she thought somebody was shooting at her with a BB gun, and it was kind of like, well, it's no big deal, right? So page 6 starts. Let's take a look at it again. Let me make sure. Okay, page 5. Conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. That was the plan. The plan was to commit murder in the first degree. Conspiracy, just like it says, it does not matter whether the crime agreed upon was actually committed. So, as we start, conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree, it says on or about the date and place is charged. Did willfully, knowingly, combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit murder in the first degree of Tammy Daybell. Did combine or conspire to commit murder in the first degree or commit murder, and one or more such persons did an act to effect the object of the combined conspiracy. Okay? Then we go through the acts. October 28th, Chad and Lori were espousing their religious beliefs for the purpose of justifying and or encouraging the homicide of Tammy Daybell. She moved to Rexburg, Idaho. Text messages between Chad and Lori regarding death percentages for Tammy and JJ in messages on July 30th. Chad Daybell obtained a burner phone. Alex obtained a burner phone. Text messages between Chad Guy and Lori Vallow about Tammy Daybell being in limbo and Tammy being possessed. Then they went and they increased her insurance policy. Then Alex Cops attempted to shoot Tammy Daybell on October 9th. Right? There it is. Page 7. I'm looking at page 7. Page 6. I'm looking. Okay. Murder in the first degree. October in the county of Fremont. Concerned did aid and abet in the commission, not being present, invite, encourage the commission of Tammy Daybell. Yeah. Chad Guy Daybell, concerned with the commission of the first degree murder, did aid and abet in the commission and assist in the killing of, did either kill Tammy Daybell and or assist in the killing of Tammy Daybell or encourage the killing of Tammy Daybell. So if you look here as it relates to, let's make sure we get it right. Did I not go through? Maybe I didn't read page 7 when we went through it, did we? I think count 6. Further than mercy. Okay. Count 5. October 1st, 2018 are the date of offenses through January 15th. Count 6, on October 18th and 19th in the county of Fremont was concerned with the commission of first-degree murder, and did aid and abet in the commission, or not being present, advised, encouraged in its commission by command, compelled another to commit the crime, and did so with malice aforethought, and did willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, which resulted in the death of human being, to wit, did either kill Tammy Daybell, or assist in the killing of Tammy Daybell, or encourage the killing of Tammy Daybell, or commanded another to kill Tammy Daybell. Okay, you're right. I misspoke. Count page 7, count 6. So the first one is the attempted murder, didn't complete it. Count 7 is they're saying between October 18th and 19th of 2019 they did. And if he didn't do it, he encouraged somebody else to do it. But it doesn't say how they intended to do it, other than they aided or abetted in that. Count 7 is the grand theft, basically taking the property, the funds from the insurance people. That's not a big deal. And then the insurance frauds. I guess I skipped a page when we went through it. My fault. My apologies. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for spending your hard-earned money to fix my air. We should get Valerie's information and send her a mug. She's right. But it doesn't say how he did it or if he encouraged somebody else to do it. It's literally a hodgepodge of the first-degree murder statute. Was concerned with the commission of the first-degree murder and did aid and abet in the commission, or not being present, advised and encouraged its commission, or by command compelled another to commit the crime, and did so with malice aforethought. So they're saying that he was involved with it, but he aided and abetted with it, or wasn't present, advised and encouraged the commission or command of it, and did so willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation. Well, if he was aiding and encouraging, as it states here, Tammy Daybell, and did encourage the killing of Tammy Daybell, and or did command another to kill Tammy Daybell, it doesn't say who he commanded to do that. So that'll be interesting to see how that flushes out as well. Let's see what else we have here, and then we'll go to more questions. Now, one would have to say, well, one could say as a defense, there was never a conspiracy. We never agreed to anything. This is just an unfortunate series of events, which is what the defendants may argue. Now, once you enter a conspiracy, the old, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. That's really what it is, because you can be held responsible for the conspiracy, even if you don't know exactly how they're going to go about doing something. But you're kind of involved, but you don't really want to know all the details. Well, you're responsible for everything that goes on in that conspiracy. What is the defense to a conspiracy? Withdrawal, okay? And you have to be able to say, basically, hey, remember that conspiracy that we had to kill everybody? I'm out, all right? And once again, it's not like you get a formal agreement when you enter into a conspiracy. It's very unlikely that there's a formal exit. I resign my position from the conspiracy. Doesn't happen. And one of the instructions that the defense may get if somebody raises the defense that they withdrew from any conspiracy is the defendant is not guilty of conspiracy if the defendant in good faith withdrew by informing another party to the conspiracy of the defendant's withdrawal before any party performed an act for the purpose of carrying out the agreement. So we'll see if that holds true. We had a question today from some people on Twitter. Great source of information. You should check out their podcast, Pretty Lies and Alibis. Question: Lori, Chad, and Alex are all named in the conspiracy to commit murder charges, but only Lori and Chad are named in the murder charges. Does that mean Alex didn't murder the children? Nope. I think hopefully I explained that the charges first conspiracy, then they have the theory under complicity that they encouraged somebody to commit a crime. That's how they're charging it. You can be charged as a principal even if you didn't do it. Very similar to the example I've given before. If somebody says, hey, will you come by and pick me up? Sure, I'll give you a ride to the store. Hey, while I got you here, can you drive by my buddy's house? I need to give him something. And, somebody does a drive-by shooting. Well, the guy driving the car is like, what the hell are you doing, right? He didn't know what was going on, but he didn't pull over right away. He's maybe an accessory after the fact, but he wasn't involved in it. But if my buddy says, hey, Scott, I need you to pick me up, taking me to the store. I need you to give a guy something that I know. Okay. Well, really what I'm going to do is do a drive-by shooting. Then, well, guess what? Unless I say, no, get out of my car, and he's going to go do a drive-by shooting, and you drive by, you're aiding and maybe even encourage, like, yeah, you should do that. That guy's a real jerk. You drive him there. You encourage him. Doesn't matter. Yeah, go do it. You're guilty just like you did it yourself. I always tell people and clients who've ever had like that kind of situation where somebody shot, fired, did something, hey, you might as well have taken a shot yourself because you're guilty just like you did it themselves. So always remember that. So hopefully that explains your answer. Complicity. It's a theory where you can be held responsible as a principal. Question, Melissa. They said Means is going to stay on the case. The state is paying him. Well, he was staying on the original case. We'll see if he enters his appearance tomorrow as well. A little different, the fact that he was already on the case, trying to keep things moving forward. But clearly, everybody must have known there in Idaho that there was something going on because nobody was in too big of a hurry to get to trial, and there was no continuance ever granted. So even though it frustrated the rest of us, apparently there was a method to the madness, and they knew what was going on. What does Means want besides every detail of Melanie Gibbs' life? The subpoenas duces tecum. He's looking for a scapegoat. I think he's trying to say that, maybe she's the one that was involved in this, and, she's the one that's providing this information, leaking stuff. Guess what? She can do whatever she wants. Doesn't mean that she's not telling the truth. It just simply means that she is providing the information. So hopefully that answers your question. Sarah, you're absolutely right. He wants everything. He basically wants to turn over all your communications that you've ever had, in the last year, which I don't think is necessarily going to happen for sure. All right. Wow. What a quick hour that took to go through there. Now, obviously, this takes everything to a new level. We talked about it before. Lori and Chad were only looking at 10 years in prison. Now, the first-degree murder carries life without possibility of parole. It could carry the death penalty as well. And if the prosecution was going to do that, they would have to notify the defense within 60 days from the date of the arraignment, and we are not even there yet. So that is where things stand. Big day in there for sure. Can't believe I miscount 6. Yeah, it's interesting. Count 6 is interesting because it's the complicity charge, basically, as it relates to the other two charges for JJ and Ty Lee. But here, they're saying Chad Daybell was concerned with the commission of the first-degree murder and did aid and abet in its commission, aid and abet, or not being present, advised and encouraged its commission, or by command compelled another to commit the crime, and did so with malice aforethought, and did so willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, which resulted in the death of a human being, to wit, did either kill Tammy Daybell and or assist in the killing of Tammy Daybell, or did encourage the killing of Tammy Daybell, and or did command another to kill Tammy Daybell. I mean, as the defense guy, my first thought was, okay, bill of particulars, tell me which one my client supposedly did. Because I think any defense attorney is going to say, well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? How's a good jury supposed to know? That's pretty broad. I would ask for a bill of particulars in that particular situation to flush out what the prosecutor thinks the client did. Did he do it? Did he encourage somebody to do it? And if so, who did he encourage? Who did he aid or abet? those are all important questions. And I think those are fair questions that they have to answer. So, all right, Sarah. Yeah, Means is somehow, he's got a thing. I mean, Miss Gibbs, she testified at the preliminary hearing. John Pryor went after her at the preliminary hearing. They've tried to really make her out to be kind of the bad person, but, she was the one where they tried to convince her. When I say they, Lori Vallow, and I think at one point Chad tried to convince her basically, oh, tell the kids they're with you. They sent them, oh, they're fine. I just saw them. Tried to get her to lie, and she's like, yeah, no. Will Tammy's autopsy be made public? If so, what's your opinion on the cause of death may be? Good question, Adam. More than likely, it will not be made public because there's still an ongoing investigation and now a case. At some point, obviously, it's going to be turned over to the defense. Information may come out as it relates to the results, but I'd be surprised if the actual autopsy result is released until afterwards. Now, obviously, there must be something there. And the prosecutor has to have good faith to bring the charges. The grand jury had to have seen some evidence and was convinced that probable cause exists. Probable cause being what a reasonable person believed that a crime was committed and that the defendant, in this case, Chad Daybell, had something to do with it. That charge, maybe the reason I skipped it was because it was a little sketchy. Did he do it? Did he tell somebody to do it? Did he encourage somebody to do it? A little vague. I'm going to hold judgment on that one just yet. We'll see how that goes. But obviously, let's face it, it's a little suspicious. I never said it wasn't. It always was. Your wife passes away. 2 weeks later, you're married to Lori Vallow. You're now husband number 5. Like, geez, man. His theory of defense should be probably similar to what the prosecution is saying, is that, he put a spell on her and he may have done some bad things allegedly. But she's the real evil one. Now, this is going to be interesting to see how things really shake out, because whenever you have a multi-co-defendant case and people were able to, 10 years, true love, they can hold out 10 years. 10 years isn't that long. They'll be out on parole in 5, right? But now things just got serious. Multiple counts of first-degree murder. Chad's looking at 3 counts. Lori's looking at 2. Multiple life sentences. Now we're talking never getting out whatsoever. And I think it's curious that the money ran out. Is that because Chad is like, you're cut off? She could say, hey, we're married, man. I have just as much right to those funds as you do. So maybe there's a little riff going on. I can't wait. I wish these two are actually going to appear in court together. They're staggered tomorrow, but wouldn't that be great to see if they are, I love you, babe. I love you. You got to love that. You go to court and, everybody's in shackles and they're scurrying across. I love you, babe. I love you. I'll be with you always. I'll write you letters. I love you. I don't think we're going to see that. We got 2 50-year-old people. Where do they want to spend their golden years? Do they want to spend it in an Idaho Department of Corrections prison cell? Or do you think they would like to get out? And maybe enjoy the grandkids someday? Although, would you trust them around your grandkids? I don't think so. Would you trust them around your children? No. Who knows? It's interesting to see what they've spent their money on. But if I was their attorney, I think one of the things I'd probably want to do is I'd want to get a mental health evaluation, because if they had these deep-seated, deep-rooted religious beliefs, and I've done these cases. I've done the cult cases. They believe everything that they believe, and it doesn't mean they're crazy. They just believe it. It's different, So it's going to be an interesting case to watch. I think where the real drama is going to come out is Are these two still lovey-dovey, or is somebody gonna start to roll in exchange for maybe getting out of prison someday? That's gonna be the issue. And just remember and never forget, in a multi-co-defendant case such as this, even if it's only two, the first one to the prosecutor's doors usually gets the best deal. Just the way it is. It's a race to the DA's office. See who's going to roll first. You think they want to go to court, spend their entire fortune? Oh, I don't know, but it's probably helping the motion for change of venue. That's for sure. So, all right. I know we didn't get a lot of questions. We could probably go hours and hours. But guess what? We've got to go do our Patreon show as well. So if you haven't become a Patreon member, please do so. I want to thank Sarah there. Big super chat. Let me see. I didn't see a whole lot of super chats popping up. Did I miss something? I didn't see. I just want to make sure I answer them because people, pay good money. So I want to make sure that I answer them. Scott, great channel, great chats. These people here are great. We have Shadow. I totally agree. Our subscribers are the best, man. They're knowledgeable and like, hey, Sarah's like, hey, Scott, no, you got it wrong. I went back and looked. You're right. We skipped that page. Jeez. And I'd highlighted and everything, but I skipped it when we were talking about it and didn't realize it. So I appreciate that. And hey, I don't know. If I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to admit it because we all make mistakes and we want to make sure we get it right. But 3.3 thousand in live, please just hit the like button and subscribe. Hey, thanks, Jenlo. We love that. We love everyone tuning in and subscribing. Let me see if I've got some more questions here. I mean, there's so many comments. Gosh. So anyway, if you haven't become a Patreon, you can join us. We'll send you a link. You can join. We're going to continue this conversation. But on top of that, you can call in. We give you the super secret Crime Talk bat line number. And we'll put you on the air. We'll talk about the cases, and we'll do that as well. So first, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit that like button. Tell a friend. We'd appreciate it. And we'll see our Patreons here in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show.